Aaron Rodgers is talking with his old coach about coming back. Multiple conversations, increasing odds. NFL insiders just broke the news right before the Super Bowl. At 42, everyone thought Rodgers would retire. Then Pittsburgh hired Mike McCarthy. Now, the entire league is waiting for one decision that could change everything for the Steelers. Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers weren't just coach and quarterback. They built a dynasty. From 2006 to 2018, they spent 13 seasons together in Green Bay. Rodgers developed from a backup into one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. McCarthy guided him through every step. The results speak loud. 4 MVP awards for Rodgers, 9 playoff appearances, 5 NFC North titles. But the crown jewel came in 2011. Super Bowl 45 at Cowboys Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Green Bay faced Pittsburgh. The Packers dominated early, building a 21-3 lead. Pittsburgh fought back to make it 21-10 by halftime. The fourth quarter got tight at 28-25. Green Bay sealed it with a field goal. Final score, 31-25. Rodgers won Super Bowl M5P with 304 yards and 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. McCarthy got his ring, Rodgers got his ring, the Packers won their 4th Super Bowl, Pittsburgh got beaten. 15 years later, that same duo could reunite in black and gold. Success doesn't last forever. By 2018, things turned sour in Green Bay. The Packers fired McCarthy in December after a 4-7-1 start. Reports said the relationship between McCarthy and Rodgers had broken down. The chemistry was gone. McCarthy went to Dallas. Rodgers stayed in Green Bay until 2023, then moved to the Jets. But in 2022, before Dallas played in Green Bay, Rodgers talked about McCarthy. He said time away gave him appreciation. "It's natural to look back and have a greater sense of gratitude," Rodgers said. That statement matters now. Mike Tomlin resigned on January 13, 2026, after 19 seasons. The Steelers needed a replacement fast. On January 24th, they chose Mike McCarthy. McCarthy grew up in Pittsburgh's Greenfield neighborhood. At his January 27th press conference, he got emotional. His family sat in the front rows. "Pittsburgh is my world," McCarthy said through tears. "It's time to bring another championship back to this great city." Team president Art Roney II stressed they didn't hire McCarthy to lure Rodgers back. They hired him because he was the best coach available. Or was it? Less than 10 minutes into McCarthy's first press conference, someone asked the obvious question. "Do you want Aaron Rodgers back?" McCarthy didn't hesitate. "Definitely. I don't see why you wouldn't. I have spoken to Aaron. I thought he was a great asset for the team." That answer sent shockwaves through the NFL. Rodgers had strongly hinted before the 2025 season that it would be his last. When Tomlin resigned, everyone assumed Rodgers was done. Retirement seemed certain. Then McCarthy showed up, and everything shifted. On January 30th, McCarthy went on the Pat McAfee show. He revealed more details. "I've spoken to Aaron a number of times, but I think just like anybody that's played the game a long time, it's important to get away." That's a normal process. McCarthy was giving Rodgers space. No pressure, no timeline, just conversations between two men who achieved greatness together. The talks continued. Multiple sources confirmed Rodgers and McCarthy spoke several times in late January and early February. They discussed the offense, the team, the future. Nothing was decided, but the door stayed open. Then came the bombshell report. On February 8th, before Super Bowl 60, NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero dropped major news on NFL Game Day morning. "My understanding is the odds are increasing," Pelissero said. Rodgers has spoken several times with Mike McCarthy. At this point, it would not be a surprise if Rodgers is back in Pittsburgh. Pelissero added another detail. Rodgers also talked with wide receiver DK Metcalf. Metcalf wants him back. The players want him. The coach wants him. The team wants him. Suddenly, retirement looked less likely than a reunion. Aaron Rodgers is not the player he was in 2011. At 42, he threw for 3,322 yards in 2025 with 24 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Completion percentage, 65.7. Passer rating, 94.8. Not MVP numbers, but good enough to win. The Steelers went 10-7 and captured the AFC North title. Then came the playoffs. Wild card round against Houston, Rodgers completed just 17 of 33 passes for 146 yards. He fumbled on a sack return for a touchdown. His final pass, a pick six. Final score, 30-6. Critics jumped. ESPN's Benjamin Solak wrote, Rodgers' lack of mobility and diminishing arm talent is an enormous limiting factor. The stats backed it up. Second shortest passes among starters, ranked 39th out of 45 on scramble plays. PFF grade of 68.7 ranked 29th. The arm talent is fading. The mobility is gone. So why would the Steelers want him back? Here's the argument for bringing Rodgers back. Pittsburgh has no better options. Mason Rudolph is a career backup. Will Howard is a sixth-round rookie who spent 2025 hurt. The free agent market is weak. The draft class is worse. McCarthy knows how to maximize Rodgers. They have 13 years of history. The system is familiar. The trust exists. One more year gives Pittsburgh stability while Howard develops. Plus, Rodgers still has moments of brilliance. His season opener against the Jets showed it. 4 touchdown passes, 244 yards, 0 turnovers. The Steelers won 34-32. When Rodgers is on, he's still dangerous. And there's the legacy factor. Rodgers wants a second Super Bowl ring. He's willing to play for discount money to get it. The Steelers can sign him cheap and use cap space elsewhere. Now the argument against. Rodgers is 42, almost 43. Every week brings more risk of injury or decline. The playoff disaster showed his ceiling. When the game matters most, can he still deliver? The offense was conservative and limited in 2025. Short passes, safe throws, no explosiveness. Is that really what Pittsburgh needs to compete with Baltimore, Kansas City, and Buffalo? And what about the future? Signing Rodgers delays the rebuild. Another year of waiting. Another year of wondering when they'll find their next franchise quarterback. The debate rages inside the organization. Free agency starts in mid-March. Everyone hopes Rodgers decides before then. Last year, he waited until June. That created problems. The Steelers couldn't plan. They couldn't prepare. They just waited. This year feels different. McCarthy is in place. The conversations are happening. Pelissero says the odds are increasing. Insiders expect news soon. If Rodgers says yes, Pittsburgh builds around him. They'll add offensive weapons. They'll upgrade the line. They'll make one more run at a championship with a 43-year-old quarterback and his old coach. If Rodgers says no, the Steelers pivot. Maybe they draft a quarterback. Maybe they sign a veteran bridge player. Maybe they roll with Howard and hope for the best. But right now, all signs point toward yes. McCarthy gave an interview with Bob Pompiani in early February. He talked about the wide receivers. Then he said something revealing. He mentioned building on what they did with Aaron last year. Not with the quarterback. Not with our QB. With Aaron. That slip told the story. McCarthy expects Rodgers back. The plan is in motion. This reunion isn't just about football. It's about redemption. McCarthy hasn't won a Super Bowl since 2011. He went 185 and 113-2 in his career. 5 playoff appearances with Dallas. 0 championship games. He needs to prove he can still win the big one. Rodgers has the same problem. 1 Super Bowl win in 21 seasons. 4 MVP awards, but only 1 ring. The critics say he underachieved, that he had the talent, but not the championships. Both men are in the twilight of their careers. McCarthy is 62 years old. Rodgers is 42. This might be their last chance to silence the doubters together. Can they recapture the magic from 2011? Can they beat the team they beat 15 years ago, except this time wearing Pittsburgh's colors? Or will age and time prove too much to overcome? The NFL is buzzing about a reunion nobody saw coming 6 months ago. Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers, together again, the coach who developed him, the quarterback who made him a champion. They won a Super Bowl by beating Pittsburgh. Now they might try to win another one for Pittsburgh. McCarthy said definitely when asked about Rodgers. Rodgers has spoken with McCarthy a number of times. Insiders say the odds are increasing. Free agency starts in mid-March, and the Steelers are waiting, the fans are waiting, the entire NFL is waiting. Will Aaron Rodgers bet on 1 more year with the coach who made him great, or will he walk away and let the next chapter begin without him? The answer is coming soon, and when it arrives, it will shape the entire 2026 season for Pittsburgh.